there's enough Mennonites population in Lancaster County that it feels a little different driving down the roads on a Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, people are going to church and you see like the black bumper vehicles going by and like
everyday clothes, knockabout clothes, and Sunday clothes. We had 3 too. Yeah, knockabout was like go to grandma's house.
Sounds like a euphemism for something like that's
really
not
does.
PG. Sunday afternoon drives. Did you guys do that?
No, and I don't get why you have that because that's wasting gas, which is
Not Mennonite.
not Mennonite.
Buddy gang.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh, it makes my toes curl.
I know. Eric actually changed his name to my name.
It's such an interconnected community that you have a guy for everything. I'm saying guy loosely, woman too, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There's an expert in every field in
Yes.
your immediate family tree.
Yeah, and they're usually hard workers and they're honest and I mean, it is the truth.
Yeah.
I'm just not necessarily proud of that fact.
No lies were told. But, I mean, what are you ashamed of?
How do I look? Like, do I look like a general 30-ish?
Your hair is maybe a little messier than usual, or what do you mean? That's not what you meant, is it?
I just ran to the produce stand to get some pretty flowers for our set. I think they look so gorgeous.
They are gorgeous.
I love peonies. Always
Peonies
will.
are the best.
They're so, like, they're otherworldly.
They are.
I ran into one of my students and she's like, oh my goodness. Hi, Mrs. Fox. She's like, I was just looking through pictures from our field trip when we went to Hershey Chocolate World. And she's like, and I just thought, wow, you look so different. Guys.
It's that haggard mom look. No, I'm just kidding.
So she hasn't seen me in like 6 years, but when I taught her, she was a second grader.
It's like, do you think you didn't change, ma'am?
It's like, there's a grown woman standing in front of me that used to be my second grader, and she's telling me that I've changed. So now all of a sudden I feel really insecure.
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm like, no, she was just being cute and like whatever. And I'm sure she was I loved her. She was an awesome student. But I think, you know, you get nervous when you see teachers out in real life, especially like years later. Anyway, it was just hilarious. But I'm like, great, thanks for the boost of confidence. I've aged more in the last 6 years than she has.
That's
from a second grader to a ninth grader.
Definitely untrue.
I did the math wrong there. Second grade to ninth grade. So 7 years.
7
yeah.
years.
Oh my, how time flies. Anyway, you haven't really addressed your latest purchase on here, have you?
Nope. Well, I mentioned in the last video that I was cleaning out the van to sell. And we're selling the minivan because I have gotten a Mini Cooper. So it's been great. If you want to read more about it and like the whole long dramatic, it's not long, but actually the post is very lengthy.
It's very long and very dramatic, I think.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I think it is.
Yeah, go read it.
Anyway, on Honey and Homemaker, I wrote my feelings, and my mom was like, I didn't know that was why you got the Mini Cooper. And I was like, well, I thought you would assume that. But also, like, I didn't even really know exactly why I was feeling that way until everything was over and I sat down and thought about it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's why. And my mom's like, it makes perfect sense. And I was like, yeah, it does. And I wouldn't have been able to put it into words when it was all happening, but now looking back, it's like, yeah, makes sense.
Wow. Does she have a name yet?
Well, Finley named her Gabby, and Jack tells us that it's ridiculous to name cars.
Oh, no.
Okay, sir.
Well, there's like Herbie the Love Bug, so
Yeah.
Gabby the...
I know, I think it's cute. So we
Mini
call her
Cooper.
Gabby. Sometimes I call her the Mini Pooper, affectionately.
We have Harriet the Chariot, so yeah, there you go. Oh, that's so fun. Anyway, so much for the small talk at the beginning. I love the small talk though.
It's
That's like
fun.
especially if you feel like you know the podcaster you're listening to. It's just like fun to catch up with their
Yeah.
lives and stuff. Anyway, let's do our favorites and then jump right into today's topic, which I'm very excited about.
My favorite is something that's been my favorite for quite a while, a couple years now, and that is Instacart. I'm not sponsored by Instacart. However, they have commented on my Instagram posts when I tag them sometimes, at least once. So I feel like I'm just about to get a sponsorship.
Yeah.
Like maybe tomorrow they'll reach out, I think. So I love Instacart. Their app is so easy to use. It's like a personal shopper, really. You can message the person that's doing your shopping, say, oh, can you add this? And they tell you if something's sold out, and they suggest substitutes, and you can say yes or no. They're really easy to work with. If you get a wrong item or a damaged item, they'll just refund you, and then you can tip your driver. You can have comments to them. I don't know. I love it. And like, it's summertime. You have extra kids at home. If you don't want to drag all your kids to the grocery store, there is no shame in the grocery delivery game.
Love it.
I promise. And I do have a code. It's not like a sponsored code or anything, but it gives you some money off and me some money off. So I'll link it if you want to try it out. I absolutely love it. Like you can order your groceries and an hour later they're on your doorstep. Like you can't even go out and get your groceries that fast. It's not always that fast, but I love it. Me and my sister share an account. So it's more affordable that way if she would pay her half. But it's like it's a family account and you can have 2 people on it. So she can order and I can order, and our own payment methods and our own address. So I love it so much.
I use Instacart only one way, and that is for Aldi grocery pickup.
I don't think you can get delivery in your area.
I think I can now.
Oh, can you? Did they change it?
For that. I think there is. I just do it as pickup because then I'm like, I'll do like a park thing and then I'll pick them up at the very end or something. I do like to go in myself, just produce wise and stuff like that. And I still am at the stage where I kind of like grocery shopping. I'm really fast at it. I have my list all organized and whatever else. But yeah, so I wonder if that's real Instacart, if I'm not getting somebody to, like, can I actually tell them, like, if the store is shopping for me? It's probably a store person, right? It's probably,
I don't know.
Do you think it's actually
I think
a worker?
Instacart would do it. It would be an Instacart employee that would do it and put it somewhere.
That's what I need to do as a retirement job.
I use Aldi, like Instacart via Aldi or whatever, but you can shop at different stores with Instacart, like Sam's Club.
Yeah.
Different stores.
I'm just picturing like at Walmart, you see the Walmart workers going around getting stuff for people. I assumed it's just Aldi workers, but you're right. Aldi only ever has like 3 people in their whole store.
No, it's not Aldi employees that are doing the shopping. It's Instacart employees.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Yeah. I just never know with the tipping thing when you're at the store. Like it's different than when they bring it to your house. Yeah. You pay $1.99 for to pick it up at the store. So.
And it's not like the cheapest way to get your groceries. However, it is a time saver. And if I'm sharing the account, I have like a membership. So if I'm sharing that, splitting that with my sister, there is a service charge, but I think I get free delivery with a membership that you get it a lot cheaper. And I'm getting Aldi groceries, which if I go out and get groceries, I usually don't go the whole way to Aldi. I go to like Weaver Market.
You're saving money.
So it's cheaper groceries, and I like Aldi groceries. Did you know that? Sorry, I promise you I'm not sponsored by Aldi or Instacart. But did you know, since Aldi is a German company or European based, they have different rules about what they're allowed to include in their products than what
more strict rules, I assume.
So if you look at like the Lucky Charms, they're off-brand, they do not have red food dye. That's the only one that I'm sure that they can't have in is red food dye. And I haven't like fact checked all of this, but it makes sense. If you look at their Lucky Charms, they're not nearly as vibrant colors. So I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to use any red food dye in their products. So you can read the label and it'll be colored with something else. Now, if you buy a brand name, American brand name at Aldi, that doesn't count. But any Aldi brand won't have at least red food dye. And I'm not sure if there's other things that are exempt.
Wow. So like I know Trader Joe's has their thing too. So apparently Aldi is kind of there too in some ways, which is crazy. Like food dye didn't used to. I think it might thunderstorm here soon.
Can't wait. There's been way too many sunny days. We need a rainy day.
We need rain.
Too many sunny days make me grumpy.
I think a lot of people need rain. I mean, of course we're pre-filming this, so I don't know what it'll be like by then. But yeah. Anyway, I would not complain if there was a cozy rainy evening.
Yes.
But food dye, it didn't used to really bother me that much. Yeah, sure, it's bad for you. Like, can we not always have? Like, I don't ever buy fruit by the foot or Gushers or any of that plastic candy stuff. Is that thunder?
No, you're bumping the door. You've been.
Oh, okay.
You talk with your hands and the door's like shaking.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I got red, white, and blue M&Ms, and I was just eating them. I can't help myself. They're so good. And my face literally just broke out that next evening with tiny little like pimples or whatever. I was like, oh, I've been eating too much sugar. Sure, maybe. But I think it was the food dye because I don't really think that happens when I eat a s'more or something like that. Anyway, so now my sister-in-law just texted a picture. The group chat was saying, bring all the candy for camping. And she sent a picture of Starburst and like everything is like Swedish fish and like all like these gummies and stuff. And I'm like, no, hide them from pick your poison. I eat chocolate. It's not good for you either. But yeah, for some reason it's starting to like go and like the red popsicles that my kids love, and I don't know.
I don't think it's not something that I'm super vigilant about, but I know my sister-in-law says that her boys get crazy.
Yeah, I haven't noticed
if they have red food dye. I have not noticed that, but like if I can avoid it, sure. I mean, it's definitely better not to have it.
Yeah, I'm not buying the Gushers and oh my word, what is it? The fruit roll-ups with ice cream and you bite and they crunch.
Did you try that?
I did not.
I
but
didn't
it's
either.
so fun to watch people bite into them.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I want to try it, but ew, I wouldn't like it.
It sounds so nasty.
Yeah, I wouldn't like it. I know I
Yeah.
wouldn't. Anyway, my favorite, thanks for asking,
Sorry.
has been my chair in my bedroom. Guys, every bedroom needs a chair in it. I'm convinced.
I agree.
had a chair in my room when I was a teenager. Sure, it was a camping chair, like one of those fold-up bag chairs, and it was usually covered in clothing that I didn't feel like putting away. But never mind that. Now I have a little seating area in my room, and it's just so nice
We
to
have a
it
couch
there.
in our room.
Yes, I know. You said
like
that.
it.
And like we have 2 chairs. I sit on it. Josh sits on it. I sometimes have my devotions up there. I don't know. It's just a nice little space. And I feel like it's something you all could take advantage of right now. Like if you're sick of your home or you just want to change or something, grab a chair from a different room and just plop it upstairs in a corner of your bedroom just for like a week and see what you think. Like most people probably have a chair in their room, but I didn't at our first place. I didn't have
certainly
much room for
didn't
it.
at our first place either.
Yeah. If you have a tight room, sometimes a bed can totally fill the whole thing up. Anyway, let's get into today's topic. I feel like this could have a part 2 anyway. So let's just talk and see how much we can get through. Like we won't make this much longer than normal. I feel like we could make a part 2 at some point.
Yeah.
We just kind of jotted down things that came to top of mind. So yeah, I feel like most things we see in the way we look at life is totally colored through our Mennonite upbringing, and we can't hardly even tell how that has affected our lives, you know? So it's hard to pinpoint, but we try.
Even if you like leave the Mennonites or you're not conservative anymore, you can take the girl out of the Mennonites, but you cannot take the Mennonite out of the girl.
People try.
Oh, they try, but they can't.
I'm sorry. You can spot
and I
them.
think they should be okay with that. I think they should be proud of it.
And you know what? I think there's a lot of people out there that want some aspects of the Mennonite lifestyle.
Most people do. Yeah.
But they don't want all the parts. Anyway, what did you have to say?
So when I was writing things down, I was thinking of reasons why I love being a Mennonite.
Okay. And I was thinking more like how I was raised a Mennonite. And anyway, and then we'll do a rapid fire thing of Mennonite-isms and little things that maybe only Mennonites understand. And maybe some of you are like, that's not Mennonite. We do that too. So
I think some of them are like Dutch.
Or like regional.
Yes.
Like the talking
Lancaster
fast
County
is regional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's a root thing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I would say the first thing is Jesus. We've been taught to love Jesus, and more important than being a Mennonite is that we're a Christian. And if you're a Mennonite, I hope that you're a Christian first.
Yeah.
So I would say that's first and foremost in my mind, that we were taught biblical values. We were taught what it is to have a relationship with Jesus. And for me, that's the thing that I am most grateful for.
You learn Bible like songs and stuff before you can even really talk.
Exactly. Yeah.
For me, I have Sundays are observed, and this is something that I realized is so much easier to do in Lancaster County because of the plethora of Mennonites. Like most of us observe Sunday in some way. The old order Mennonites are real like specific about it. Well, I don't know. Are they more specific than us about it? I'm not sure. I mean, most people don't go shopping like the Mennonites. We'll run to the store for things if we need to, but it's just like a holiday feel about a Sunday. It does not feel like any other day of the week. Like our neighbors are out mowing. They're not Mennonites. And it's just like, I love the sound of a mower going, but not on Sundays.
No, I agree.
I agree. Sundays are like a day of rest, and like we'll see the Joanger. Joanger is a style of Mennonite or
old order Mennonite.
They'll be going with their hockey sticks in the back of their bike cart, or in the winter they have their hockey skates over their shoulder. After church, they're biking to the pond, and it's just like everybody is like taking
a different
the day
vibe.
off. Totally,
Feel.
and it's like there's enough Mennonites population in Lancaster County that it feels a little different driving down the roads on a Sunday.
Yeah,
people are going to church, and you see like the black bumper vehicles going by, and like. It definitely feels different, and it's so much easier. I know some of you guys try to observe the Sabbath, or not the Sabbath, but like a rest day. And I know it can be hard because most people around you don't do that. You're headed to all the soccer games and I'm not judging people or anything. I'm just saying I appreciate that all the Mennonites around us make it a lot easier to observe a Sabbath. I don't feel like I'm missing out on things because nobody's doing that on Sunday.
We're all doing the same thing.
We have 6 other days to do those things, and I don't want to lose that. I do want to keep up with that. And like, as of now, our family does not go out to eat on Sundays except for like extenuating circumstances, but that varies a lot in even the church that I go to. So yeah, there's definitely different ways of practicing it, but I'm very glad that Sundays are a thing.
Yes, me too. I have down here tanner, Botox, and makeup, and that's more like the exemption of it. Like there's no pressure to get Botox at 25 for preventative measures. I mean, people would think you're really weird if you did. You don't have to wear makeup if you show up at church with no makeup. In fact, I've been doing that a lot lately, like not wearing any makeup. Like I've been trying to do it more often just to let people know it. I don't wear a lot of makeup ever, but like just absolutely none. And no one thinks I'm weird. Like 9 times out of 10, no one else has makeup on either. And it's just so freeing and
refreshing.
And I don't want to lose that either. Like if I start to feel like I can't leave the house if I don't have cover up under my eyes, then I'm like, okay, well, now let's force myself to leave the house without it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever want to get like I can't show my real face, because our culture has taught us that we don't need it. It's not necessary.
Yeah. And if our kids always see us with all the makeup on all the time, that's going to die. Like, they're going to feel like that's the thing to do. Like, that whole like bare face thing is going to go away.
Right. And I just look at some of the older ladies at my church, and they just age so gracefully and so beautifully, and they're not self-conscious of their wrinkles or of their gray hair. At least they don't seem like they are. And I just think it's beautiful.
Yeah. And we were taught that at a young age too. Yeah. Like, my mom would say it all the time. Now you look nice, now act nice.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Yes.
My next one is that I have lots of friends in the same stage of life as me. I know some of you are out there struggling to find mom friends, find your tribe. Like, since family is held in such a high regard, and some people might say this is like a women oppression thing, and we're in a prison and we're just expected to be making machines and stuff like that. I am grateful for the fact that family is held in high regard, and that there is a large portion of women that grow up and get married at, roughly 19 to 25 age, and then they'll have kids and stuff. And so I have so many different mom friends to do life with, and I'm so appreciative of that. There's also that stage of life where everybody's getting married, like wedding. And now it's like, I would love to get invited to a wedding more often. It doesn't happen very much.
We had a wedding like every other weekend for a couple of years.
I skipped some decently close friends' weddings because we had 2 weddings that weekend.
Yeah, me too.
It's crazy. Like, now it's like, if I have a wedding of anybody I remotely know, it's like, oh, can we go? I hope it works,
Yeah.
So yeah, just doing life with other people that are in the same stage of life and also value marriage and family.
Yes. I have affordable Christian schools, and some people like to debate the affordable part, and I'm not denying that's an expense, but we do also have scholarships available to us in our Anabaptist community that probably aren't available to other communities. And I think a Mennonite private Christian school has got to be cheaper than like a Catholic Christian school. I haven't checked any prices.
Or like just a private school.
Yeah, just like an elite private school. Now, in some standards, I mean, you get what you pay for. Our schools aren't maybe quite as accredited or quite as up to certain standards as
some of those. For yourself, but
whatever. Some of those elite private schools, but like, it's an affordable Christian school that I think gives a perfectly adequate education.
Yeah. Actually, no, I think Mennonite schools do well. And there's actually somebody said a comment about how many times can she bring up that she was a pretend teacher.
I saw that one. I'm like, ouch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's true. I didn't go to college, but some of those little 1-room schools, 2-room schools, like the smaller schools with the uneducated teachers, with the curriculum that they use, those kids are brainiacs and like way above the general population in a lot of subjects.
I would say our Mennonite Christian schools, coming out of those, you have a way better education than a public school.
Yeah. I don't know if it's as well-rounded as when it comes to like, current events and like social things, different things like that, sports and stuff like that. But when it comes down to the meat and potatoes of education, they do really well, especially for what they charge.
Yeah. And I think homeschooling is great, and I think it's such a good option, but I'm so glad that I don't have to feel pressured to homeschool, or that I don't have to homeschool because I have the option of affordable Christian Mennonite school, and I'm just really grateful for that.
Yeah, Raquel Whitmer, maybe you know her. She's a fellow Mennonite YouTuber. Check her out. She is a hoot.
Yes.
She's everything I am not. And she was just DMing me on Instagram. She left me a comment about how, she's going to have to be thinking about schools eventually too. And she feels like there's no options in her area. I think she lives like 2 hours away.
Yeah, they're not far.
So it could be like, we're very fortunate.
Yes.
This is just a random little one, but I never grew up learning to call adults, like the neighbor adults and like random adults in my life, Mr. and Mrs. Like, we called our teachers in school Mr. whoever and Mrs. whoever, Miss. But like, they were just Jane or Terry or whoever. Like, and I don't know if that's like a rudeness thing. I think it's more of like Mennonites are like, try not to be prideful and like esteem themselves higher or whatever, like have titles and stuff. I don't know. Why is that our cultures don't do? This is like a random, This is nothing. You wanted to stick with why we're thankful we're Mennonite. So maybe I should just move this later on.
Well, no, that's what I had thought we were doing, but this is good too. I wonder if that is a southern versus northern thing too, like a more of a regional thing.
So you don't think like the neighbor kids?
I mean, my neighbor kids don't call me Mrs. Anything.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're not Mennonite.
Oh, let's just delete that one out. That's fine.
That's
or
fine.
let us know down below. Is that maybe that's just a regional thing. As a Mennonite, you know a guy for everything. Your dishwasher breaks, you know a Mennonite guy. You need electrical work done, your brother-in-law probably knows how to do that.
Connections.
Yeah, your car, this, that.
A website guy.
Trying to figure out this podcast equipment stuff. Found another Mennonite like podcaster that told us some stuff. Like, it's such an interconnected community that you have a guy for everything. And I'm saying guy loosely, woman too, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there's an expert in every field in your immediate family tree.
Yeah, and they're usually hard workers and they're honest and yeah,
you can trust them
usually.
Yeah, Eric's biological family, we've recently been getting in contact with them, and it's funny because they will ask us, do you know a good guy who does, and we always know. Like, I've given them Josh's information. We recently just referred them to Eric's mechanic shop or whatever. It's like they know they can come to us like, do you know a guy? And we know a guy.
Oh yeah.
Always.
We'll give you the referral. We'll hook you up.
Yeah. And one thing that I have down is sewing. My sewing skills. I was taught to sew at a young age, and a lot of people are not. And I feel like it's one thing that the Mennonite culture is maybe losing a little bit, as it's easier to find modest dresses nowadays. Like back when we were little, I don't think our mom could really find dresses for us, so they had to make them. And I'm glad that I was taught how to sew. I mean, I turned a little side business out of my sewing skills, so I'm very grateful that I was taught how to sew. And if I had a daughter, I would want her to learn how to sew.
Yes, I have a little sewing machine for Ivani. I just have to figure out how to set it up. Part of me just wants to teach her on my real one. But is that reckless?
No. I learned on my mom's real one, absolutely.
Okay, I know, but I was 11 or 12. No, I was like 14.
I was young.
Okay.
I was maybe not as young as Ivani, but get her like quilt patches.
I was actually thinking about letting her do that this summer.
Yeah, I think she could.
She often doesn't need very much of a nap. And I was like,
I think she could
take her somewhere, let her pick out some fabric. I'll go to like Zinks. They have good prices on their cotton, and just let her first learn how to cut the patches, and then
I honestly think it will go better. Her little sewing machine is probably going to be really frustrating. It's not going to work right. It's cheap. I would let her use yours.
Yeah, and I can always.
She can't really mess it up.
Yeah, exactly. Break a needle, buy a new one, whatever. Yeah. I just don't want her sewing over her fingers or something. I don't know if that one would have more guards and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've done it.
It's nothing irreparable, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
I think if you teach her to be careful.
Yeah, it is such a skill.
And teach her to just go really slow.
But also, it could be dying out just in our circles because we go to churches where you don't have to have a cape dress, so therefore you don't have to sew your own clothes.
Yeah, that is.
So I don't think it's totally dying out in all circles, but yeah, I feel like a lot of people that could choose to sew or not sew just don't. And so, I mean, I don't sew as much as I did back when I needed.
And I don't sew my own clothing as much as I did either. I hardly ever sew my own clothing, but I still know how to sew.
Yeah, let me know. Do you guys want another sewing video? I should put you in it, and you could tell me. You could. People get all worked up about how we roast each other. I need to do a day in the life sewing video and have you
I roast you in the comments on your sewing videos.
And have you stop in for like an iced coffee, and then I can be like, this is what I got done so far. And then without any context, you should just like rip into it.
Make sure you use your big, expensive fabric scissors to snip the threads. Oh, horrors.
What do you do?
Like a little thread snippers,
so
a little
that
scissors.
Actually dulls it?
A scissors. No, but it scares me. I'm like, you're gonna chop a hole in whatever you're sewing, and like it's hard to handle. Like I have a little scissors.
I think I do like 50-50. I'll grab whatever's closest.
If I can't find my little scissors and I have to use my big one,
it's the worst.
Irritating beyond belief.
Oh, no, I thought you'd have way more things to roast me on, like seams and proper.
Oh well, yeah, that too. But you want to get into that?
I don't know if my ego can take it right now.
No, I'm not like the most technical, proper seamstress.
I'm not selling my stuff, so I'm just like, you know what? I'm an approachable sewer.
Yeah. No, it's probably better to learn from someone like you. I wouldn't say I'm like super technical, but I do know the proper way to do most things.
And you have the proper equipment, like the serger and everything.
Yes, I have 3 machines. It's a little ridiculous, but I need them all.
Yeah, but you make money off of them, so
yeah, they're very well justified.
I'm just like the DIY sewer, so it's all good.
Yeah,
I should have worn homemade dress today.
You should have.
My next one is, I think that's pretty much all the ones I had that I'm glad. Do you have a couple more about reasons you're glad you grew up Mennonite. I have a few cons.
Not anything super important.
I have that. This is another good one. I feel like we tip well because there's a connotation that Mennonites do not tip well and that they're stingy. So I feel like me and like my circle of friends, we all, at least we say it out loud. I don't know if maybe somebody's lying. I don't know. But we usually try to tip well because we can't stand that that's like a thing.
We don't want to be that Mennonite.
And when I say well, I mean either adequate or better. I mean, not 10%, 15% or whatever. I don't know. I guess I won't knock people who do 15%. But
well, at least 15.
Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah. I feel like that's a connotation that we're trying to turn around.
Yes.
And then another thing I have is the whole, I never knew there was a term for this, but my one friend's husband said it's called Mennonite exceptionalism. And Mennonites are pretty much like your basic standard Christians, except for a few certain things. And one of those things is that we believe that we are first part of God's kingdom and then part of our earthly kingdom. So it's like the two kingdom concept. Mm-hmm. So basically God is our ultimate king and we need to obey him ultimately. Anyway, so that trickles down into things like, can I say it? Can I roast my dad? Like he'll like park somewhere and be like, that sign means no parking for everybody else, not for, or like, you know what I mean? Like that, they just mean that for people with big trucks or like this or that or other people in my life too. And I didn't realize it's actually a Mennonite thing. I thought it was just like my own family thing.
I didn't know
we
that.
think we're kind of above, not above the law, but above like certain like.
I have noticed that. And it's mostly like older men.
Yes.
That think that they are just above the rules. Like my father-in-law is bad for it too.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. It's not like sinning stuff. It's more like little caveats and stuff.
Because
like
you
that.
obey
like,
God higher than the law of the land. But what they're getting wrong is that like it's not against God's law to not park there.
Well, we have this mindset that we still instill in our children, and I do want to have this to some extent, that we are not part of this world. We are different. We are set apart. But we're just the same as the next guy when it comes to the parking ticket meter dude that's coming by to put on parking tickets. Like, you're not supposed to be there. You're getting your ticket. So for the most part, Mennonites also try to reciprocate that trusting thing too. Like, we put the money out for the egg box, pay for the eggs in the little thing. And like, we're very old school in that. Like, I know lots of people that don't lock their doors at night. They're just very trusting. And is it naive? I don't know. But
well, it's trusting. And it's also like, again, this is earthly stuff. We don't hold, or we shouldn't be holding our earthly possessions. Like I always think, if someone wants to come in and take my earthly possessions in my house when I'm not there, have at it.
Okay. Should we do some rapid fire Mennonitisms and things that maybe only Mennonites would understand? I'm just going to say a few till you find your list. Grandfather clocks, lard, cooking with lard, Sunday china, or like the Sunday china.
Is that just old-fashioned, or is that Mennonite? I guess that's for them to answer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. A lot of these things might just be old-fashioned, but I don't know. I have down Sunday afternoon drives. Did you guys do that?
No, and I don't get why you have that, because that's wasting gas, which is
not Mennonite.
Not Mennonite.
No. Yeah, we would. Listen, I thought about this. Sunday afternoons, my parents would drag us out the door, get us into the blue Astro minivan, and drive around Lancaster County and look at so-and-so's new house. And
I can't remember doing that once.
New shed. And like, I would hate it. I just sit there and read a book. Like, must have been, like, maybe my one sister was colicky, and so she would take afternoon naps that way. I don't know. But I thought about it. Isn't that what they did? Like, isn't that how my grandpa probably did? My great-grandpa, like in their buggy and carriage Sunday afternoons, they just drive around and see who's out and about and stuff like that.
We would go for bike rides.
Like, do you literally think we're acting out the olden days and didn't even realize it?
I don't know where you get the Sunday afternoon drives. We never did that. Well, my dad would force us to go biking.
Well, some of the things on your list I've never heard of before either.
Oh, really?
Clotheslines, that's probably just old-fashioned. Amish wash lines, though, like with a pulley system. Parlors. Do you guys know what a parlor is? Me and Josh had a parlor when we were dating. It was our own special living room that we had a sofa in, and we would have our little devotions or just
like
chit chat there.
Room.
Back in the day, they were a real deal thing. Like, you made them over to your personality and your style. And
I did not have one.
Anyway, I had a parlor. And my other one is, does this bring back any memories? Standing still while your mom has pins in her mouth and she's saying, stand still. And she's like trying to pin the hem of your dress to figure out where it needs to be.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my word. And you just like, we're so sick of it, and you wanted to get away, but you had to stand still because there was pins everywhere and they were gonna like jig you.
Yep. I have scouting. Do you know what scouting is? Have you ever gone scouting on a dating couple? That has died out,
praise the Lord, at least
not
in
in some circles. In our circles, yes, but we got scouted on.
Wow. Scouting,
and we did it.
We won't describe it because it literally sounds illegal and probably should be.
It probably is. I mean, some of the stuff that people, it is borderline. It's trespassing.
Tell you what, we'll tell you what scouting is at the end after the credits roll. If you really want to know, stick around till then.
Homemade root beer.
Grandma makes that stuff. Yeah. What makes the fizz? Yeast?
Yeast.
Yeah.
Brewer's yeast. Host family. I don't know if other churches do that or
Hostess.
Not. Yeah.
That's what our church called it.
Scrapple.
Yeah. That's a kind of meat.
Hay rides. Maybe that's pretty common.
Yeah, but they're really common in our circles for sure in the fall.
Do you remember having knockabout clothes and Sunday clothes?
No,
you never called it that.
Everyday clothes.
Everyday clothes, knockabout clothes, and Sunday clothes. We had 3 too. Yeah, knockabout was like go to grandma's house.
Sounds like a euphemism for something like that's really not PG.
It really does. I know. That's why I think we don't say it anymore. The church book, that's like an old order Mennonite thing. But like, do other churches have directories? Like church
Maybe
directories?
like an actual hardcore like a hard copy though? Yeah, they'd be like, oh, well, get out the church book.
Let's
see how old they are.
Let's see who's related to so-and-so.
Yeah, if you'd be talking about somebody that's definitely like, my parents didn't do that. It's like my grandparents.
Oh, my parents do that all the time.
They still do.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes we even get out the church book.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we don't have one.
You married an old order Mennonite, though, so maybe that's more like closer to your background.
Yeah, well, they have them digital now. They have an app.
Wow.
Can you believe it? Sewing circle.
That's a church thing. Yeah.
And like the youth has gangs. I think Mid-Atlantic calls theirs buddy gangs, maybe.
No, we never use that. Like that.
Darrell does. Darrell is always saying buddy gang.
Buddy gang.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Oh, it makes my toes curl.
I know, it's a little cringe.
Well, like basically you have your group of friends that's like your style of person. Like,
well, their youth group is massive is what happens. It's massive. So you splinter into these.
You were part of one of these. Don't say they. Like, that was you and Eric.
Well, we were like honorary members.
Yeah. I mean,
but I don't like approve of that, actually. We can talk about that later. Circle letters. My mom has like circle letters with her gang.
That's where you put your letter in the circle and mail it to the next person. And
so there's like a big pack of letters. Yeah. Oh, it was so exciting when
literally
the circle letter
old
came.
School Instagram.
Yeah.
It's oh my word. Mennonites were like the social media before there was social media.
Which brings me, sewing circle is like, Eric likes to call it the gossip session or sewing circus.
But that's how you found out the stuff and what to do with your sick kid and like so-and-so's marrying so-and-so.
The concept of family reunions, but it's not the family reunion like you normally hear about, like not normal ones.
People meeting at the lake in the cabin and then they wear all the same t-shirts and stuff,
or like a holiday thing. I'm talking about the family reunions where it's like
Sunday afternoon, you bring a hot dish,
a covered dish, potluck, whatever you want to call it, and it's like
the men are still in their white shirts and their black pants.
And it's hundreds of people all descended from, usually like you would all have a common great grandparent.
Yeah, it's usually like about that far back.
Trickled down to
the Burkholder reunion we could both go to, and that's like 4 back.
I've never been to that one. But there are varying degrees of genealogy, but like it's massive. And like you don't know these people, but they're your second, third cousins.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting concept, and I used to not enjoy them as a kid.
Oh yeah, but you show up, even as married people, we show up to represent, like we represent our mom's family, like, you know.
And you go and you talk to your immediate family and your cousins anyway. Like that's not the intent. The intent is to meet your second cousins, your third cousins, and you know, make a connection and keep in touch with your distant family. It's
usually for the patriarch and the matriarch to like can you imagine sitting on that folding chair, everybody's with their styrofoam plate going through the line getting their little barbecue meatballs, and it's like, wow, that's my legacy.
But like, oftentimes, at least the ones that I went to, like the person isn't even alive anymore, and they still continue to have these reunions in honor of, you know, like great grandma Weaver or whatever.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I know, and it's amazing how many of those keep going even after they're gone.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about how you and I are related?
No, let's not go there.
Why not?
No, Jayna, I don't want to.
Okay,
it sounds
you
like
can cut it. You can cut it.
It just doesn't sound very
okay, so
acceptable.
Megan and I are first cousins and second cousins because sisters married cousins. So I have 4 grandparents. She has 4 grandparents. I am related to we have all the same common grandparents, except we each have one grandparent that we're not related to. So her one grandpa I'm not related to, and my one grandpa you're not related to. Other than that, out of 8 grandparents, we are communally related to 6 of them.
We have 75% of the same blood. Is that correct?
Yeah, like I think genetically we could be half. Like if someone would test our DNA, I think they would say that we're half siblings.
Wow.
Or even closer, because we have the same exact genetic code, except
My grandpa's Zimmerman.
Different grandparents.
Oh my word. Yeah. Weird. It's pretty common.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's not.
Yeah. I know there's a lot. I mean, yeah. And I went and got my genealogy printed out at a Mennonite place. Like, it's called Muddy Creek Library. If you're a local, go check it out. Got it printed out for my parents for Christmas one year. And they said pretty much every Mennonite in Lancaster County is related either 5th generation or closer.
Yeah.
Like,
let it be known, I married fresh blood. Eric actually changed his name to my name. Let me explain. Eric was adopted, so therefore fresh blood. But I was a Burkholder before I was married. He was a Carlson when he was born. He changed his name to Burkholder.
Because Burkholders adopted him.
Because Burkholders
Random
adopted him.
other Burkholders.
But I we're like I wouldn't have necessarily married one of Eric's adopted siblings.
You're closely related. Eric's adopted brothers and sisters are your third cousins.
I think so. Yeah, third cousins, I think. Which is perfectly acceptable. I mean, you can't really find someone who's not your third cousin hardly.
Wow, that's so close.
I think there's statistics of like the general public, the chances of them marrying their third cousin. I think it's actually a lot higher than we think.
Yeah, but you shouldn't attempt, like, you should try to branch out.
Third cousin, I wouldn't even worry about. Second cousin, I don't think I would be comfortable with. But anyway, so I like to joke that
clickbait here. I'm like sweating.
that Eric changed his name. Like, he took my name because essentially he did. I mean, he was born a Carlson. Now he's a Burkholder. I've been a Burkholder since birth. Yeah. So anyway,
that's
you can cut that if you want, but I don't think you should.
Okay, then. I mean, it is the truth.
Yeah.
I'm just not necessarily proud of that fact.
No lies were told. But I mean, what are you ashamed of?
I don't know.
There was no,
I mean,
in our story, there was no
no.
I mean, okay.
But okay, there is certain, this is really creepy. I don't know if you want your kids listening or not, but there's like certain Mennonite groups, like not any that I know personally. You used to live close to some.
My parents'
but they
neighbors
believe they're the only correct church. So when they can't find someone to marry, they literally start looking at their cousins, which is absolutely makes my skin crawl. And let's change the subject.
Well, no, like, I mean, let me just elaborate since you said not to. But my parents' neighbors, I mean, from what I've been told and what I understand, I mean, it's basically a cult. Yeah, I would say. The certain group of Mennonite. I don't even know if they're considered. I guess they're Mennonite.
They probably would call themselves that.
They're 35er is what they're called. I don't know what their proper name is.
Probably a last name of some kind.
Yeah. Anyway, this one particular group of 35ers, they weren't allowed to marry outside their group. So my parents' neighbors, like, they were marrying their first cousins, but not only were they first cousins, they were double first cousins because brothers had married sisters. So their DNA is siblings. And it wasn't working. I mean, yeah. That's sad and that's disgusting. Our situation is nothing like that. Like, there's no interbreeding there. I mean, it's all like,
I guess that's just
sisters and cousins. Like, we're like Ivani and Jack would be like,
I just don't want people to think that is at all how it is. Like, when people hear the word cousin, they forget that you said first, second, third, fourth, whatever you said in front of it. They just hear cousin. I have heard of some smaller Mennonite communities in other states and stuff that literally have like intentional like youth group meetups with people from other states and stuff, just so they can like get people meeting from outside of their little community. Yeah, so Lancaster County at least is not a little community.
Whew. Am I gonna sweat?
Whoa, keeping up with the Mennonites instead of the Kardashians or whatever.
Exactly.
So confusing.
Keeping up with the Kaufmans.
Oh my oh my goodness. Okay. Anyway, yes, I think the bottom line is we're very grateful for our Mennonite heritage. We know it does not save us. We know it is about Jesus, but we do appreciate the cultural aspects. Yeah, some of the cultural aspects that have been ingrained in us since a young age. And I feel like we could go into so much more. We have in some other episodes. Check out our one about Mennonites and money, Mennonites and weddings. Yeah, it's just really interesting to hear how other people live their lives. And I'm glad you guys are all here, and
we'll see you in the next one.
Bye. Are we going to talk about scouting?
Oh, scouting. Yeah. So, okay, Megan mentioned Parlors. So a dating couple would do their youth group activity, go to church, whatever, come back and have their date. So they go into their parlor.
This is not old order Mennonites, by the way. This is like my teenage friends, this happened to them. Like we never really, we got scouted on like twice, 3 times maybe. I scouted on somebody else one time.
Yeah, it's a dying thing, but it's still done. Like people still know what it means and they still do it occasionally, I think.
Okay.
So anyway, you're in your little room. Some people go to great lengths to like block all the windows and like no one can see in because they know this potentially could happen. But another group of
Do you hear yourself talking?
Yep.
Like how bad this sounds.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. Dating couples, just random groups, people that aren't dating, will come and spy on you. Basically, they will attempt to sneak in your house and scare you. We had one person throw shoes at us. Sometimes they will like get to the parlor before you and like try to hide. I mean, I don't know if it's like all made up by the parents to make sure no one's doing something they shouldn't be.
Accountability.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know, but then the covering up the windows and stuff.
Well, because they know people are gonna come try to see in, and it's like a game. Like people want to come scout and see you without you knowing
nefarious.
it.
Yeah, most times
it's all. I think it's intended in good fun, but sometimes it gets carried away. But yeah, you try to spy on the dating couple, and their intent is to not let you. So
yeah, it's like a little cops and robbers type of thing. And like when you're single and younger and like you don't know what to do on a Sunday night and you know all the couples are out there dating, you just jump in a vehicle together and drive around and see who's around. And like one time they let us in and we had like food.
Yeah.
I mean like whatever. We got what's it called? Scouted on twice. And the one time it was my friends from Missouri and we just like waved at them from the window like, hi. And like Josh and I never spent a lot of time together by ourselves in a parlor. And obviously like you could easily see in. So whatever. We were behaving ourselves, not because people could be watching us, but because we wanted to.
We got scouted on once or twice too. And it was all fun. I mean.
Yeah, but it is like creepy if you think about it. Like one time our friends, the neighbors, they were scouting on my other friends and the neighbors of those friends saw people crawling around in the yard at night and called the cops, which rightly so. That's what should happen if you see somebody randomly.
I mean, it is trespassing.
So yeah, I think nowadays the world is not near as trusting of a place, and like it is dying out. But anyway, the dark sordid. What is it? The dark underbelly of Mennonite world.
Yeah, now here we are exposing it all.
Oh man, yeah. Hey, I guess you could spin it in a good way or a bad way.
Yeah,
like, whatever. I think it's good to have some accountability, you know, especially with lots of the Mennonites I knew did not do like the hands off relationships or whatever. But anyway, it's probably not a good idea for people to be in a room by themselves. With,
most of my friends didn't have parlors.
Okay, so it was like a non-issue. They were like,
you would just go in the family room or the basement, but people would still try to scout on you, but you didn't have like that secluded, designated, like little private room.
Yeah. That might surprise you because I bet a lot of people think that Mennonites just do the whole like chaperone thing and stuff.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's very the opposite.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not condoning any of that. Just thought we'd fill you in. And as far as I know, people are not doing that anymore, or at least in our circles. So
not much.